I talked with Larry White, who used to teach for the organization here. And he went to Africa too, and for just a short time. And he said, when I go back, says I'm going to either get in orthodontic school or I'm going to join the International Association of Orthodontics, which has just gotten started. And there were two orthodontists in California. They started the International Association of Orthodontics. And it was going pretty good. And Dallas had an active study club, and I was operating in that. And I went to one of the first meetings of the international deal in New York. Dr. Harry Levy and I went up there and attended that meeting. And these two guys, one of them was Orthodox, one felt like he ought to be. They got mad at the AAO. The orthodontists back in that time, I don't want to make enemies out of them, but they didn't want to give you the time of day. They didn't want anybody doing orthodontics. And so the International Association had violated that, and we started, you just put up, say, we're going to have a course on orthodontics. Boy, people flocked to it. I got started on this back when the IAO was just starting. And those two guys took all the money and they went to Europe and had a big blowout with the money. And they didn't realize that they had established a board, and the board said, this isn't right. And the guy said, well, y'all just go to hell. I mean, we're going to do that. But Walt Brim was there, and he took over and operated, and I worked with Walt and went with him as he taught, and I'd sit back in the room and bend the arch wires with the guys. And then I just started doing it on my own. And Walt kind of carried the IAO. And the group in Dallas was a really strong study group there. And we had a guy come down, Goldberg, and he taught beg and I went and took that course and learned how to do beg orthodontics. That's when I first got started really in the International Association of Orthodontics. I was up in the IO and upgraded the boards and all kind of stuff in there, and I didn't want it to split, but we went to Atlanta. Lindsey Brim is a wonderful guy, and his daddy, Walt Brim, was the one I taught with. And Walt took over the thing. Then those guys went to Europe, their board. He saved it. He started teaching it, and I started going with him and teaching the wire bending and all that kind of stuff while he was lecturing up there. And Walt finally said, well, I'm going to just move the headquarters back to California in the building I have. And I would set out my cases that I had passed the boards in California, and I brought them to Atlanta and put them out there. And Dr. Mitchell was the lecturer. He was head of the department at Emory. And he said, man, if you can do this, you know how to do orthodontics. Dallas had a club that was really, had some good operators in it. And they pulled out and said, we're going to get out of this. And so they did. And by the time the plane landed in Dallas, Charlie Yates, he got the name American Orthodontic Society. And Moody Alexander was head of the orthodontic department. And Moody and I fought for years. And I told Moody, I said, Moody, teach people orthodontics. There'll be more of it than you can do. And he said, we are not going to teach anybody orthodontics. I said, Moody, if you don't, I am, and by God I have. And I've spread it to the whole world. I mean, it's out there now.